Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. It is time for Mondays with Monte. Music criticism notwithstanding, I hate you, Miss Q. But besides the point, it's Monday, and that means it's time for me to talk about League of Legends. And today's subject is jungling. Again. You might be saying, Monte, you talked about jungling last week. Why are you talking about jungling again? You already talked about it. Well, that's because last week I only talked about the fundamentals. And when I say fundamentals, I mean fundamentals. Like absolute foundational building blocks of how to jungle. The most unfundamental thing I talked about was ganking. Think about that. When you think junglers, you think ganking, right? That was the least fundamental thing I talked about last week. So today, we're moving a step up. We're going from beyond just this basic, well-laid foundation, and we're going to start to learn a little bit more about jungling. Trying to get beyond just the basics and trying to get into a little bit more advanced stuff. Stuff that you see all the pro junglers do, stuff that makes you think, wow, that guy's a great jungler. Starting to get there. You're not going to suddenly become some of the great junglers out there. You're not suddenly going to be Diamond Procs or anybody like that. But we're going to take things one step at a time. We're going to move on up. So, in order to help you do that, I am going to let you know the biggest secret to jungling that there is. This is absolutely the one most important thing that you need to keep in mind if you're going to jungle. If you're going to be more than just that guy that like complains to everybody about how you don't like to jungle, this is what you need to know. Out of all of the roles in League of Legends, there is no role that is more dependent upon map awareness than jungling. Let me repeat that. If you're a jungler, there is nothing more important to you than map awareness. Both of those statements are basically true. Map awareness, map awareness, map awareness is absolutely critical to being a great jungler. And that's a little bit counterintuitive, because you're not in a lane. You're just a jungler. What do you have to worry about ganks or any of that? It's the guys who are pushing up to the tower that have to worry about being aware of where people are. No. I'm safe in the jungle. I'm just farming these camps. Why do I care? Why do you care? Well, because you need to know what the heck is going on in order to be effective. If we roll back to last week's jungle show, which, if you missed, is in the archive, if you roll back there, one of the points that I made for why we jungle in the first place is because having somebody permanently missing is absolutely crazy effective. It's just this awesome thing. It's this huge threat to everybody else on the map that just really puts so much pressure on them, that just catches them out of position, off guard. It is huge. So if you, the jungler, are not kind of aware of the fact that, say, somebody up here in the top lane is pushing, or somebody here in the bottom lane is pushing, or somebody in the middle lane is pushing, or that the jungler is just camping your bottom lane, if you don't really care about any of that, if you're not watching for that, if you're not paying attention to the bulletins that come across the screen that says your allies are getting their butts kicked, you're not being a very effective jungler. You need to be aware of what's going on in the game. Because if you're not aware of what's going on in the game, any successful ganks, anything like that, are mostly just pure happenstance. Just, you lucked into that as much as you made any really good decisions. You need to know what's going on so that you can be more effective. And that's not just a matter of when you leave the jungle, but the jungle gets increasingly unsafe as you go up in ranking. The higher you go, the more likely it is that you're going to encounter junglers who are confident in their ability to go into your jungle and muck you up. Just go in there and just bash your face in, and they know why? Well, because they know that if they ping and get their teammates in on this thing, they can make nasty things happen. So you need to be aware of everything. You need to be aware of where's the mid laner, where's the top laner, where are the bottom laners? Are they going into my jungle? Have I seen the jungler anywhere? Where was the jungler last? If you're not paying attention to the map, you don't know any of this. You don't know what the patterns or habits of anybody in the lanes are. You haven't figured any of this out, and that just makes your job so much harder. It's all map awareness. The jungler, because the jungler needs to basically be everywhere at the right time, the jungler needs to know when that right time is. If you just kind of clear and then gank, well, you know, you'll have some successful ganks that way. But if you're watching, and then you clear. But you don't clear the whole way because you realize, you know what, mid is vulnerable right now. I need to go. And so you just abandon your camp and just go mid and gank, and all of, hey, look, they were really pushed up. I didn't get all hung up dilly-dallying on this Wraith camp that's not really worth all that much. I chased this guy out of lane. Hey, he gets to miss a whole creep wave because I did that. What's that whole creep wave worth? Like 3 times what the Wraith camp's worth? Why was I worried about the Wraith camp? Why was I worried about that? Map awareness. Map awareness. Map awareness. I really cannot stress map awareness enough. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. There's just this tiny, tiny little thing here in this corner, or maybe this corner, depending on how you have it set up. And it's a small, tiny box, right? You can't be looking at that all the time, right? It's not easy to keep some attention over there and pay attention to what it is you're doing right now. That's a very difficult skill, and players can play League of Legends for a long time and not even have that skill very well developed. It's tough. But if you're going to jungle beyond the basics, map awareness is critical. From everything else that you want to do, map awareness is the source, it is the root, it is what makes you strong. Information is just absolutely key. Now, from that information, you can basically make one of 2 choices at any point in your jungling. And the choices are, do I go somewhere out of the jungle and make something happen, or do I just farm? Very simple seeming choices. I mean, where you go is a bit of a choice on its own, but those are the basic 2 decisions you have at any point. Am I going to leave the jungle, or am I going to stay in the jungle? But information is the key, because if you're in the middle of clearing a Wraith camp, but you're not looking at the map, you might not pay attention to the fact that the enemy mid lane is pushed up. Or you might be on your way to red buff, but you didn't pay attention. You didn't see that both the enemy mid and top lane are headed there too, and you're walking right into the enemy jungler, and you're going to have a really fun time fighting 3 people by yourself. Map awareness. It lets you make good decisions because you have information. It's this, it's basic Sun Tzu information warfare stuff. If you have all the information, you can make the right decision. If you can deprive the enemy of information, you can prevent them from making the right decision. So if you just willfully ignore the information at your fingertips, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. Putting yourself at a disadvantage. So map awareness, I really cannot emphasize it enough. Now again, this is not easy. We're getting into the advanced stuff. This is not gonna, you're not gonna pick this up immediately. You're not going to go into your next game having watched this show and just be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be the all-seeing eye. I will know everything that's going on the map. I will be so awesome. I'll know how many hairs are on Tarek's head. That's how closely I'll be observing everything. That's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to catch everything because even players in the gold and platinum and even diamond levels miss things on the map. It's just a fact of life that map awareness is really the hardest skill to learn in many ways in League of Legends. It's really, really difficult to just have one eye in one of the 2 corners wherever your map is at all times. It just... We're not chameleons. We can't do that crazy thing where one eye goes in one direction and the other goes in the other. Doesn't really work for us. This is what we get for being a stereoscopic predator. Oh well, evolution is overpowered. In any case, map awareness. Map awareness. Map awareness. Don't fret if you do not have perfect map awareness the moment you leave this show. Don't even fret if you don't have perfect map awareness in 2 years. This is not something you're going to reach some sort of godlike level, even with very studious practice, but if you're paying attention to your map even 50% of the time, you're going to be head and shoulders above so much of the player base, it's not even going to be funny. So with all of that said, I'm going to pull up some replays here, and we're going to examine how I look at the information I have available to me and act on it, or, failing to notice some of that information, fail to act in an appropriate manner. Because I'm not perfect. I do not have perfect map awareness. Like so many other people, I too am flawed. And we will see me make some mistakes over the course of the night, and we will see me do some things that are really hard for new junglers to just do sometimes. Really, really hard to do. It's not hard to choose between farming and not farming. You can really easily fall super, super behind if you don't farm and gank at the wrong times, and you can really just let your whole team fall behind if you just farm and never do anything else. It's tough. Jungling, not easy at all. But we're going to be taking a look at this, we're going to do our best, and we're going to see if we can't improve just a little bit over the course of the night. So here we have a game, and as we can see, I am jungling Thresh. Now Thresh is not your most common jungler. Generally, people don't jungle him, they play him support. Some people like to do crazy things like play him in the top lane or play him as an AD. I like to jungle him, he's just really fun. Not easy to jungle per se, but when you land those hooks, it's an absolute blast. So rather than watching all of this nonsense level 1 stuff at slow speed, we're going to fast forward just a little bit, and we're going to have some fun here, because we've spotted out Misfortune, and we're going to try to kill her. The ghost goes down from Singed. Is he actually going to catch her? Is he going to get close enough? She flashed. She's super fast because she's Misfortune. Oh! She managed to get away almost, but no, she got thrown. I did not land the hook because I'm terrible, unfortunately. But First Blood goes to Draven. That's awesome. Give First Blood to the AD. Give them that advantage. And so now we're going to steal blue buff. That is our plan. Blind hook from Miscue into the bush. That's okay. It could have landed on something. Taric has just spotted Singed coming in here. So what has happened? Taric has given his team information. They know that Singed is here. And that probably means, since Singed is here, the entire team's probably there. So this Hecarim is making a very smart choice. He's guessed that we're all here, so instead of trying to contest this blue buff, he's going to come over here and take ours. This is a very standard move when you get counter-jungled. If you know what's going on here very clearly, you can just come over here and you just position yourself so that you can see any enemies coming. Which is not what he's doing, but blue just spawned anyway. So he's going to take that blue. I'm going to take this one. And so we just trade blues. Not a big deal. Singed tries to chase him down. No go. Leaves the minion behind. That's okay. I told him it was okay in the game. That's how these things sometimes work. So now I'm just going to work on clearing my jungle. So is Hecarim. He's going to work on clearing his. I'm going to make sure that I take a quick pass through blue. I know that blue is gone because there's this ward here, but I also know there's a little minion there. I need to clear out that minion so that blue will respawn. Singed has unfortunately died very quickly. I think he missed some creeps, and so Jack's got an early level 2, allowing him to beat the crap out of Singed. But I'm just going to keep farming because I'm not going to be very useful if I'm not at least level 3. I have to at least be level 3 before I can really look very hard at my ability to try to stop anything from happening or try to make anything happen. So I don't know why it's focused down there at the moment. Back to red buff. I'm going to take red buff, and then I'll either start looking for things to happen, or I'll see if there's an opportunity for me to make things happen. So now I've got my red buff. I've got a potion left, so I can heal up. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at the map. Now I can't see everything. This is all that I can see. And I see that Taric's pushed up a lot. I see that Draven's not in lane. I don't see Misfortune either. I assume, for the most part, based on what I've been looking at the minimap, that they've both have gone back. So while Taric's a little bit up here, just a little bit, it's, you know, I really need Draven to be there before I can successfully gank bottom. But he's actually very, very close. So while I might want to do these golems, it's actually better if I just go straight to bottom lane. Now note, I'm only level 3, and if I killed the golems, or if I went back and killed wolves, I could hit level 4, I could be a little bit stronger. But Misfortune isn't here, and Draven was going to get back really shortly. So ganking is a good idea. If I gank now, this is a fairly good timing. I just hit level 3. Taric is by himself. He doesn't have anyone else to defend him. There's no Misfortune. And so what does he see? Well, he doesn't see a whole lot. Does he see me coming? Does he see me coming? Not yet. Not yet. Why doesn't he see me coming? Well, because I haven't gotten into vision yet. But I'm also following a path where he doesn't have any vision of it. Up to this point, he has not seen me. He doesn't know I'm there. He just knows that Leona's being very aggressive. Now he sees me, however. Leona lands the hook. I'm ghosting in. I probably should have ghosted first. Diana is down here, and the gank has failed. Leona probably jumped the gun just a little bit. Silly miscue. So this gank, it didn't really succeed. That's unfortunate. That sometimes happens when the people in the lane jump the gun a little bit. Draven was not quite there yet. We really wanted to wait just a second. Maybe Leona assumed that there was a ward in this bush. They knew there was a ward somewhere. Could have been in the bush. It's fair enough. But that was not terribly successful. I even missed the hook there, and what does Tarek do? Well, he just keeps walking into us. And so this is just a really dumb play from Tarek's part. He gets caught multiple places, gets stunned, the Ignite goes down, he's not going to live. So the fact that this gank succeeded was nothing special that I did. You notice I missed a hook. I was not the controlling factor in that. It was just Tarek randomly walking to where he knew enemies were. That kind of thing happens sometimes. Meanwhile, we can see that Hecarim is ganking top, and he's got Singed on the run. Jax is trying to come in, and this is where I'm going to point out something very, very dangerous for junglers, particularly when fighting somebody who has a displacement ability. Towers really hurt 5 minutes into the game. So Hecarim here has overextended his reach a little bit, and getting flipped into the tower has suffered a very painful death. One of the most common ways that a relatively inexperienced jungler dies is they get into tower range accidentally, either by getting flipped by somebody with a displacement ability, or they might even just run into tower range just a tiny bit and then get stunned. I've died to a number of Anivias back when I was fairly new to jungling, where I would run up to try to chase the Anivia. She was so close to dead, and then she would wall me off in tower range and stun me. And what do you do in that case? Well, you die. It's painful and it is sad. So Hecarim has fallen prey to that. Beware of towers at early levels, especially when you do not have much armor. It's not safe. So I've gone back to clearing the jungle. I'm just trying to get a little bit of farm. I'm low on health, so I'm not going to be able to gank anyway. I'm going to go back and heal and possibly buy some items. I've got a fair amount of gold. I can get boots, and I can finish off my Spirit Stone. That's generally when you want to recall as much as possible, either in order to heal up to try to make something happen, or to buy items. Those are generally the two times where you want to recall, because you want to be out in the field as much as possible, so that you can react to events. If I was out in the field now, down by double golems, what would I do? I would just drop whatever I was doing with the double golems and come and try to assist. Because there was that action there, and when the enemy lane is aggressing is a very, very good time to try to gank them, because they're not prepared for your gank. They don't think about it coming, and then all of a sudden, look who's here. It's me. I've shielded Draven, I've jumped in, and I've missed like all of my abilities. That's unfortunate for me, but I'm getting the hits down on her. Can we finally finish her off? Can we get her? Yes, we can get her. I probably should have not attacked, but I did not see that Draven got that last attack in. So let's just review that a little bit. Even though I missed like all of my skill shots, like I literally missed all of them, it still worked out because I was able to get close using my hook and just chase down Misfortune and do a bunch of damage to her with help from Draven, and the fact that they were fighting it out. All their cooldowns and mana were used. So this gank was just super, super effective. If I had been like, well, I want to clear these first, I would have missed that opportunity. It's really hard to make these decisions between farming and going into lane, but if you have information and if you're watching lane, some junglers are pretty good where you can just start the clear and like look elsewhere as you're doing it. A number of junglers are pretty good at that. If you can see that sort of thing happening, you can just break off or just even run straight there and make a gank happen. Very powerful stuff. I've given a little bit more of a lead to this Draven. If I actually were to organize everything on the map, we'd be able to see that Draven has the same creep score as Misfortune, but has 2 assists and a kill. That's very, very significant. Good lead for him, although Misfortune has had a chance to buy. I'd also like to point out something else here, because what happened to Hecarim? He didn't really make use of map awareness. If we were to rewind just a tiny bit, where does Hecarim decide that he is going to run over here and steal my wraiths? Well, he did sort of come bottom, but he was too late, so where does he go? Well, right now he's decided that because I'm bottom, he can steal my wraiths. He doesn't think about the fact that there could be wards, or think about the fact that Anivia is recalling with no mana, or that Diana is who knows where. Diana could right now be running straight to mid. She might have recalled. Who knows? She was mid, but then she wandered off back this way. He could be running right into her. Does he have his ultimate yet? No. He does have Ghost, but is Ghost going to help him get away from people with pulls? Who knows? And this is a bad decision, partially because he really doesn't know. I mean, he knows that I've left and gone out this way, but he doesn't know where I am. He doesn't know where Diana is. He knows that Anivia is not there. He knows that his bottom lane is not going to help him. And he's going for what is the least valuable camp in my entire jungle. This is literally worth the least out of anything. So when he comes here, what happens? Well, he tries to steal some farm from me, and right away, who's here? I am, and I smite the Wraith. We beat the crap out of him. He gets stunned forever. He tries to use his abilities to get away, and I get a whole bunch of souls. If you're going to counter jungle, you need map awareness. You need to know whether or not people are going to be around to support you. You need to know who's likely to interrupt you, and you have to have some sort of an escape plan. He didn't really have an escape plan. He didn't even look to see me coming. The moment I arrived, he probably should have just booked it out this way, because that's a likely place to be safe. Instead, he runs right into Diana, gets himself killed. There really wasn't a good escape route for him to begin with. You want to avoid these sorts of things, and map awareness is how you do it. If you're paying attention to the map, you know what, they're backing off, and Thresh is probably going to come clearing through his jungle, and Diana's probably going to come back to mid lane. If they know I'm there, if they've got wards, I'm going to be in trouble. You really have to think about wards. You really have to pay attention to where wards can be. You know that there are wards in the map. You play a little safer. You know that you can be in danger if you're not paying attention. So I'm going back to farming because all the lanes are pushed up. I know Hecarim's dead. I know that they're going back. Nothing for me to do at the moment. But I have an inkling of a suspicion that I can make something happen, that maybe Diana's in a little bit of a dangerous spot, or that maybe top might get ganked. Checking for red buff, it's not there. There's Anivia's coming past. I could be farming right now, but I wanted to make sure that Diana was safe. Why? Because blue buff is spawning. Keeping track of buff timers is a useful thing, but I immediately abandoned it. Why? Because Jax just killed Singed. This is map awareness. What's important? Well, blue buff is very important right now, but I know that Hecarim has not come through here. He's not going to get blue buff right now, and I want to try to catch this Jax. Jax may not know that I'm coming. If he has a ward, he'll back out. I think he just went into that bush to recall, so what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to come this way, cut off his major escape route, throw that in there, get the auto attack off, knock him back so he can't stun me, and then I'm going to throw the easiest hook in the game and land it on him. Hecarim did the right thing. The moment he saw that I was coming, he tried to come help save Jax, but it was too late. Unfortunately, Jax has died. Both of our top laners have died, 1 for 1. It's a little dangerous, it's a little sad. But this is what map awareness gets you. If I had just gone to do blue, which was my original intention, if I hadn't been paying attention, if I had zeroed my blinders in on this, I would not have made something happen. I would not have killed Jax and punished him for his conceit of attacking my Singed. You don't attack my Singed, I'm the jungler. I'm going to punish you for that. We know Anivia's coming up, and we also know that Hecarim is in a bad position to cut us off. So what happens? Well, we didn't find Anivia fast enough. I went the wrong way. But I'm not going to blue buff. I'm going to help catch Anivia. Hecarim comes in to try to do something about it. Flash away from Diana. We egg Anivia. Singed is chasing off Hecarim. I want to make sure that Anivia dies before Diana, because if she popped up, there was a big damage threat. Good things are happening bottom lane. Hecarim gets away from Singed. That's unfortunate. But now, finally, at last, I can try to get blue buff for Diana. This has been delayed a good 3 minutes, practically, because of that. Now, I really, really want to give this blue buff to Diana, but what's going on right now? Jax is running past this ward. And one of the very important roles of the jungler is to secure objectives. Whether it's Dragon, whether it's Baron, or whether it's a buff, you don't want it falling into the enemy team's hands. So I have to accept the possibility right now that Jax is going to get here before Diana. And I see that he's coming around this way, and maybe I could wait just a little bit, but I did not want to get caught out of position by that Jax. I knew I'd be in trouble because he's level 7 and I'm low on health and mana, so I just took it to secure it. You really don't want to have to do that, but map awareness potentially saved us from a very bad situation. Just paying attention. If you've got a ward on the map, by golly, you should pay attention to it. Don't be the guy that doesn't notice that when you've got a ward on the map and somebody's running through it. So what am I doing now? I could be farming. I do have a red buff on the map. But I know that Hecarim was chased back. I know that bottom lane is in trouble. I know that Anivia just got back. So I know that my red buff is probably safe. I know that Dragon's probably safe. And what I want to do? I want to try to make sure that Singed does not get in too much trouble, that he does not die. Now, unfortunately for me, I'm not going to get there in time. I would say poor Singed, except that Singed doesn't really need my help. But it's very possible in other circumstances, especially because Jax has killed Singed twice now, which means that Singed would normally be a little bit behind, that it's possible that could have gone really badly. If Jax had not taken those unnecessary tower shots, then he would have been okay, and then I would have needed to cover the lane anyway, or me and Singed could make something happen. Singed was healthy enough that possibly the two of us could have killed Jax. It just so worked out that due to Jax's mistake, my role wasn't necessary. But even though I didn't get to farm the jungle, despite that, I was able to hold the lane, get some farm, and shove the wave so that Jax missed out on farm. This will naturally push back due to the way that tower and lane pushing works, and this will be a little bit to Singed's advantage, assuming he were to buy faster than he does. I don't know why he's sitting in there for so long. But now I'm finally going to try to secure my buffs and try to help make things happen. Anivia's down here. Can Diana get away? Well, certainly, because she's got great vision. She's got 2 wards. She knows where Anivia is. Anivia's just sitting there for no good reason. Maybe she was looking at her shop for some reason. Is Anivia in trouble? Yeah, Anivia's in trouble. Is she going to get killed? Yeah. So I'm just going to take red buff. But the moment I take red buff, where am I going? I'm going bottom. There's the ult for Misfortune. Miscue dies a painful death. I'm going to come around here. I've got my ghost going down. I'm trying to save Draven from himself. And this is a very bad thing that I do here. Hecarim did what is a classic case of counter ganking. He saw that I was coming around bottom, so what did he do? He just came straight bottom. He gave up on Diana. If you were watching the minimap, you would see that he was chasing her around, but once he saw me bottom, he's like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do something about this Thresh. He came bottom, and so I ran into 3 people. If it was just me and Draven versus Misfortune and Taric, I possibly could have killed Misfortune without losing Draven, because Thresh is cool like that. But with Hecarim's arrival, that went to pot, and that is the power of a good counter gank. That is the value of having map awareness and giving up on silly objectives that you're not likely to succeed on, such as Diana, who's running around in your jungle. If you can just make something happen elsewhere, you should just run there and make it happen. Just use your map awareness and go. So I unfortunately just fed double buffs to somebody. Looks like it was Taric? Yep, it was Taric. Not the worst person to feed them to, but you don't want to generally feed any of that to anyone. So I'm going to ward Dragon to potentially set up for it. Diana's doing crazy things top. I'm nowhere near that. I cannot save her if something were to go wrong. Singed, very hurt. Diana, is she going to get away? I don't know. I can't really save her on my own. But Hecarim misses his E. Is Diana safe? Diana is safe. The wall does not succeed. So because I know Diana's safe, I'm going to try to make something happen down here. I know that Misfortune's alone. I'm guessing that they don't have many wards out because Taric has been back for a little while, and I pink warded here, and there was nothing there. So I'm going to sneak into this bush. This is a classic case of abusing vision. Misfortune could not see me enter this bush. Why? Because her minions are not far enough up. Without minions much, much further up, this gap is as good as brush. So I entered all the way back here. I've come in, and so what's going to happen to Misfortune now? Well, classic Thresh hook into all sorts of death. Misfortune dies, and so Draven just gets to free farm for another number of minutes. We can even possibly do Dragon off this. Hecarim is top. I was looking for a possible opportunity to grab Taric. He actually could not see me because minion vision did not go across here, and Taric just does something really silly. You have to be very careful when a jungler leaves, because the jungler does not always leave, especially if he knows you don't have bush vision. If he knows you can't see that he's there, he can hang around and camp the lane. Camping a lane is something you hear people complain about all the time, where a jungler ganks, and what do? They just come back and gank again. You didn't expect it, and so you die. And then what do? Well, the moment you come back to lane, they gank you again, and it's just this horrible chain of death that keeps happening. And that's why you need a little bit of map awareness. If you don't know where the jungler went, he could still be there, and you need to just play a little bit carefully. Be cautious. The jungler could still be in the bush. So because Taric died and gave me back my double buffs, thank you very much, we're able to get a free and easy dragon. No contest from the red team. Things have started to snowball out of control for us. Why? Because map awareness. Because outside of this one incident down here where Hecarim ruined my day, there's been some very good map awareness on our side and not as great map awareness on theirs. Diana knows that Hecarim's there because of her well-placed ward. I come middle because I wanted to see if Hecarim was going to try to make something happen regardless, but he did not. And there's a blue buff that I should be passing off to Diana anyway. Just coming around to see if Hecarim's in this bush. He's not in this bush. If he was, Diana and I could have made something happen. Anivia backed off the moment I entered the bush, and that's an important thing. If you're entering a bush where there's likely to be a ward, watch the behavior of whoever is nearby. If they start backing off the moment you enter vision, probably means there's a ward there. So after confirming that Anivia wasn't just taking a step back before coming forward again, I know there's a ward here. I'm not going to hang around. I'm not going to waste my time. Map awareness. It's even just a short distance, like from here to here. That's still map awareness. That's still keeping track of things. So I'm starting blue buff, and what happens? I realize Diana's in a little bit of an awkward position. I realize that Hecarim is going top, so I'm just going to abandon blue buff. I did not hesitate to just leave because it was possible that I needed to do something to help Diana, or something to stop Anivia, or maybe even to help Singed. Even with blue buff as low as it was, I mean, look at blue buff, it's almost gone. I was entirely willing at this point in the game to just abandon it. Because what's more important than blue buff? Saving your allies or getting kills. I mean, even a camp like blue buff is not necessarily worth as much as a kill. A kill is 300 gold plus the assist gold plus all the time of that person you're wasting. A kill is a big, big, big deal. So if you can spare your team a kill or get a kill off the enemy team leaving the jungle, always, always, always a good idea. But because nothing big happened, I just resume where I left off. I set this up for Diana. She gets the blue buff, and I have done my duty. We ping again that Singed should possibly go back. Diana and I are heading straight up there the moment we knew that Hecarim was coming. Is Singed in trouble? Oh, you can bet Singed is in trouble. But he does get the kill on Jax. Very good. I throw the lantern to help him, trying to stun Hecarim, but Hecarim unfortunately gets the kill. Still, he dies for his trouble. Anivia in a little bit of a bad position, but not so bad because I was running in some odd direction. I think I forgot that Jax had died. I was too focused on saving Singed. Blinders happen for anybody. Anivia gets away, no problem, is not in that brush. So, because I happen to be here, now I'll take raids. The difference here is that I was in the area. I didn't go out of my way to just take raids. I was chasing down Anivia so that we could try to get the kill on her. And it so happens that I've landed an awesome hook. It so happens that two champions with mega displacement abilities are absolutely ridiculous when it comes to ganks. We practically pulled her off the tower despite the fact that she flashed and all sorts of other fun stuff. That is why Thresh ganks are freaking frightening. Because if he lands a hook on you, you can be this close. This is how close she was to the tower. Where she is now is where she was when I landed the hook on her. She flashed. She did all sorts of nasty stuff to get away. But because Thresh and Diana are quite a ridiculous pair in terms of pulling people backwards, Anivia perished a painful death. Be careful when you're going up against junglers with displacement effects. Be very careful. So now that I've done all of that, I am securing my red buff. Again, important objective. But now that I've secured it, what am I doing? I've been looking at the map, and I've been trying to pay attention to what's going on. Diana is trying to think about doing something at blue. Things look like they're about to happen bottom lane. They're a little overextended. I can even though it's very likely that this bush is warded and theirs warded, I can still always just come in through the lane. If Leona just makes something happen, just attacks them, or if they just go in hard, I can always enter in and counter gank. I can counter their aggression. Taric is being a little too aggressive. I don't know exactly what he's doing. There he goes. He stuns Draven. I'm actually going to try to help Diana instead. The aggression here goes down. Diana is attacking Hecarim. He's going to back away. And Misfortune's actually going to show some good map awareness. She sees Diana's all the way up here and has chased Hecarim away. So Misfortune's like, hey, maybe I can do something about this Diana. Look at that. Diana's hanging around that tower. Let me go and try to kill her. So Misfortune is on her way up. Diana takes an unnecessary tower shot, and Misfortune is flashing in. But what's going on? I could have been farming, but because I saw that Diana was a little possibly out of position, and I wanted to help her. I'm here, so what happens? Thresh is in their jungle. I get the knockups off, I get the displacement effects. Diana and my shield combined are just absolutely stupid, and we murder both of them easily. This is really the epitome of jungling. Whenever anything happens on the map, your goal should be to be there. Now granted, farming, super important. If you don't farm, you can very easily fall behind. But what just happened here? What just happened? Misfortune attacking Diana in her own jungle. This is her own jungle. This should be safe. But where's the enemy jungler? Where am I? I'm right here. I'm murdering her along with Diana. It's not safe. You can't assume that it's just going to be one person. That's what you want to be. You want to be that jungler that no matter what they try to do, you're inexplicably there, ruining their day. That is the epitome of jungling. That is what makes you feel giddy inside. That's when you know you're having a good game, is when stuff like this happens, where because you're investing in your team at the right times, seeing when things are likely to happen, paying attention to the map, that's when you have these amazing jungle games where you go 6-1-5 and totally demolish the enemy team. It's map awareness. I didn't do it. All of my ganks are actually been mostly failures. All of my actual ganks have basically been failures. But what have I been doing? I've just been going to where the action's about to happen and just playing a part in it. That's all I've been doing. Like my ganks, psh, nope. Those haven't been great. Most of my ganks have just, like when I've gone to gank, nope. I got a kill on Jax, but that wasn't a gank. That was just finishing him off when Singe had already done stuff. Everything I've been accomplishing hasn't been ganks for the most part. There's been maybe one gank that was really all that good. It's all been just going where the action is, and because I go where the action is, I can make things happen. So where's the action now? It's at this turret mid. So why am I there? Because I want to push this turret mid. That's the goal of a jungler. Be where the action is. Now there's 3 of us versus 2. Can they defend this turret? Well, Anivia's really good with wave clear. So, we'll just take a step back from this game and let's just review. I'm playing Thresh. He's not the most fantastic jungler. He's a really fun jungler. He's a really overpowered champion. But why did it go so well? Why is this game going so fantastically for me? Map awareness. I paid attention to the map. I went to where things were happening. I went to where things were about to happen. I went to where I wanted to make things happen. And because of that, the game went really heavily in my team's favor. I did farm. I have actually a significant amount of farm. I've got almost as much farm as Hecarim. I've got 71 farm to his 79. But what has been going well, and this is the key thing you really need to learn as a jungler, is that I've been paying attention to the map, and I have not hesitated in the slightest to just completely abandon whatever it was I was doing at the time in order to go somewhere else and assist somebody where I knew that I could make something happen. If you can't make it there in time, if you're all the way over here at Wolves and bottom lane has for whatever reason decided that now is the time to go get themselves killed, you probably should just finish Wolves. That happens. And we saw that once or twice. But if you're at Wolves and it's top lane who's decided, now's the time that I'm in trouble, abandon the heck out of Wolves. Yeah, it costs you gold. It does cost you gold and experience, and that sucks. But if you prevent the enemy team from killing your guy, and better still, if you kill them for their trouble, you've just completely turned everything around. I mean, you've gone from, oh, the enemy now has a 300 gold advantage on my top laner, to, oh, my top laner now has a 300 gold advantage on my enemy. That's a 600 gold difference. That's a heck of a lot. You want to turn those things around. You want to make things work for your team. So that is the key to jungling. Map awareness. It's absolutely, positively fundamental. It's the next least fundamental, it's the next thing up on fundamentals. It's still a fundamental, this map awareness thing. You'll never really get out of things that are fundamental for jungling. There's nothing but jungling fundamentals. That's just how this works. So we're going to quickly look at another Thresh game where I don't actually practice map awareness as well as I should. This game did not go quite as well, at least early on, because I wasn't really paying as much attention as I should. I was in autopilot mode. I'm just like, yeah, jungling. It's very easy to get into that. Well, it's kind of like playing against bots. It's predictable. It seems so mundane. A lot of the time, nothing big happens. You go and you do your first clear, and like nobody counter jungles you. Your lanes aren't doing anything exciting. It's like, okay, just keep jungling, kill that, just keep jungling. You know, that kind of game happens sometimes, and it's easy to get into that mindset, that relaxed, just I'm just gonna do some jungling. Easiest thing in the world, you know. No, you don't really want to get into that mindset because things do happen, and we're going to take a look at that right now. So once again, I'm jungling the incomparable Thresh. He's one of my favorite junglers at the moment because he's so awesome with his ganks, if you can do them right. If you can land your hooks. It's kind of the key thing, if you can land your hooks. I've not done a whole lot of that. The enemy team is kind of going for me. Nope, I ran the heck away. I absolutely love running into this bush at the very start of the game because you can see them coming if they're coming from this way or if they're coming from this way. And you can usually run in one direction or the other and be safe. Akali has harassed me a little bit. Not that big a deal. I'm just going to move this right along because there's not a whole lot of excitement going on here just yet. Just a little bit of a kerfluffle over here, but no big deal. I'm just going to start my jungle clear. Get a lot of help from my allies. That's a great thing. Happy allies doing what they should to help me out. And we're going to notice something right away. Where's Hecarim going? He's going right into my jungle. Now, I can't see him doing this. But I'm going to do what every smart jungler should do when you go straight to your red after getting a smiteless leash. Just walk right into this bush. Why? Because you're going to find the enemy jungler in there. If you look at my vision, this is my vision right now. What do I see? I see a big angry pumpkin pony in my bush. Get out of my red bush. This is not your bush. This is my red. Get out of here. So we fight. I knock him around. Red buff's attacking him because it's closer to him. That's another good point. Keep the buff closer to your enemy when neither of you have been attacking it because it'll start beating the snot out of him and not you. And so he'll take as much damage. Even if he's a guy who has got more damage than you do, he'll take extra damage. But here's where something went very wrong for me. I did not watch the lanes. So what's going on right now? Well, from my vision, I don't see where Akali and Cassiopeia are, but I was focused on this dude. So, I don't know what's going on. I don't realize exactly that they're coming. All I know, I see that my guys are coming, and it's only just now that I see that Cassiopeia is there. I see that they're all in the bush, ever so barely, and it's only now that I realize the extent of what's going wrong, and I'm about to make a horrible miscalculation. Right there, I did not know exactly where they were in the bush, and I actually tried to pull them out of the bush towards me. I was thinking maybe I could pull Red out of the bush and smite it. Instead, I now have 3 angry people on top of me, and I'm going to die a horrible, painful death. I have died a horrible, painful death. They got first blood just before we did, and my team is kind of failing to just go for them. This is always a little frustrating. When your team just completely fails to just, they're in your jungle, they don't have anywhere to run, just, oh well. So one of the things that went very wrong for me there, beyond my horrendously bad decision, is that my team didn't collapse. If Orianna had been a little bit more bold and just thrown her orb in there, if they had followed their opposing laners a little more quickly, I would have been in a better position. This is kind of the sucky thing about jungling, is that the right thing to do is to wait for your lane to arrive and then make something happen. But when you're playing in solo queue, even with a good friend, reaction times can be very slow, and so the enemy team was there in a hurry. My team was not. That went very poorly for me. But a lot of it was because I didn't have good map awareness initially. I didn't see that they were coming faster than my team was, and as a result, things did not go too terribly well for me. So I've died very early on, and the right thing for me to do right now is farm up. I used my smite on wolves because there's nothing for me anywhere else to use it on right now. I've hit level 3, that's good, but I don't have red buff. I'm behind. I need to catch up, so I'm farming. I'm hoping that Miscue will be fine top. I'm hoping that because Orianna has blue buff, she'll be able to handle the Cassiopeia who has blue buff. I'm hoping that Varus doesn't... Never mind about Varus. We'll forget him. I'm just going to keep farming. Just gonna keep farming. and try to get back into this game. Try to get to a point where I can try to make things happen again, because it really, really hurts to die and lose your buffs that early on. Now, granted, Hecarim has also suffered. He is not completely without suffering as well, because he died, but he's a little bit better off than me because, well, he killed Orianna, so he got all the buffs back. That's unfortunate. My team is dying. Things are not going well right now because we're 3-1, but I'm going to hold the lane. And why am I holding the lane? Because this is more valuable to me than clearing the jungle. More farm there, save the tower, all of that good stuff. Really important when you're behind to hold lanes whenever there is the opportunity. So I'm still in recovery mode a little bit. I really want to try to get some levels so that I'm at the point where I can make things happen. But I'm still looking at the map, and because I'm still looking at the map, I thought a little bit maybe there's a chance of making something happen with Cassiopeia. No, not in that case, so I'm just going to clear the golems and keep moving. Keep things going. Try not to stop catching up. Because the moment I stop farming, the moment I stop trying to make things happen is the moment I lose the game. Now, Hecarim, again, is still in a much better position than I am. If we pair him up with me here, we can see that his gold is still significant. Well, he's actually... No, that's the wrong person. There he is. It didn't swap properly. He's a good 300 gold ahead of me. That's the kill he got. It's bad. Even though, like, we both died there, he got a kill on Orianna. Bad things happen here. He is murdering the crap out of my team. What am I doing? Well, I had to go back right then. That's unfortunate. I had map awareness, but I was not in the right position. And what's this a problem with? This is a problem with map awareness. Did I know where they were going? Well, I had a general idea. I went to my blue buff because I knew they were going there. But I went by myself. That was not the most brilliant move. If this Taric had come, it could have been even. We could have done something about it. But I wasn't paying attention to where he was, and he certainly wasn't paying attention to where anybody else was. He was focused on all the angry people who were possibly bearing down on him at this tower. And so he stood under the tower and then got caught out by all the angry people. Well, in any case, that was painful. That was not good. I am falling further and further behind. How do you recover from this? You have to use map awareness. You have to know how much you can just ignore what's going on and how much you have to be there. Map awareness and experience. You just have to play a lot of jungling and know what you can get away with. I'm taking this blue buff. Why? Well, Orianna has proven that she tends to die, and I really need some experience and gold to catch the heck up. I want to not get into a bad position. Miscue's having fun fighting Akali. Meanwhile, I'm warding. Why am I warding? Why did I even buy a ward? Because I'm trying to protect Orianna. I'm trying to protect my team. I don't want Hecarim to be able to just come through here and gank bottom. I don't want him to easily come around here and gank mid. I want to help protect my team, even though I'm just farming. Even when I'm just farming, I'm going to try to help. And so right there, what did I do? Well, I was thinking of trying to gank bottom and relieve some pressure from Varus. But I didn't. Why? Because I saw Volibear go in this bush because I was watching the map. And if I ran into that bush with Volibear in there, I'd probably die. Probably die. So I'm just going to keep farming. Farm, farm, farm. Why? Because I can't make things happen bottom lane when Taric's around there. I'm guessing that they're at my red because I saw that Cassiopeia came this way. So what am I going to do? Well, Orianna is right here. I'm going to move in. And Orianna turns around. She hesitates. And she starts clearing wraiths. So part of what goes wrong here is that I thought Orianna was coming to help me take care of red. So I thought Orianna had my back. And so I run into this bush, and Cassiopeia ults me, and Hecarim accidentally E's the wrong target, and I just get absolutely demolished. If you're coming to help your teammate deal with red buff, don't freaking clear the wraiths along the way. Please. Now, I should not have run into that bush. That was a terrible idea, especially because I could have thrown my lantern in there first and just seen what was going on. This is a terrible misplan on my part. And just not paying attention to whatever the heck Orianna's doing. Just not the safest stuff. But this game is not going well. This is a 7-1 game. This is a game where you kind of like, how the heck am I going to recover from this? How does anybody recover from a game like this? The answer is map awareness. It's map awareness. So, how can I possibly recover from this? I mean, look, it's like 7-1. I'm 0-3-1. I've got 36 farm. Hecarim has not only been killing my whole team, he's got more farm than I do. I mean, that's just a horrible situation to be in. This is like as horrible a situation as the Hecarim in my last game was in versus me. He was super behind, he wasn't farming as much as I was, he wasn't making things happen as much as I was. But because I warded here, bottom lane knew that Cassiopeia was coming. That helps them. Even though I've died again, that ward I placed a while ago actually made something happen. It was useful. So now I'm going to come here and try to make something happen. I'm not completely out of this. I'm hoping that they'll push up. I missed the hook. Well, that sucked to be me. The dragon is in the process of happening. We're all bottom, however. They're a little low. Orianna's missing her abilities. I'm going to try to land a hook onto dragon so I can smite it and get the kill. Unfortunately, I missed dragon and hit Hecarim instead, although he is crowd controlled. I'm in the middle of the entire enemy team. I'm like 2 levels behind them. Volibear is trying to flip me. Cassiopeia whiffs her ultimate. That's really good for us. Where is Varus? Not there. There's the Orianna ultimate, pulling them away from the box. That's unfortunate for me, because the box would have been awesome if they'd been pulled into it. Orianna gets some double shielding, keeping her alive. Volibear is in a bad position. Everybody but Taric dodges the Ezreal ultimate. Cassiopeia has flashed over the wall. Ezreal is in trouble. He gets hit by Varus ultimate. And I die trying to get the Cassiopeia kill, but we get it anyway. So what happened there? I was aware of the fact that they were going for dragon. I went to dragon to make things happen. I pinged like hell. My team came. They were in a bad position because they were not full health. They'd used their ultimates not too long ago, well, some of them in any case. And so, what happened? Well, we just turned the game around just a little bit. It was 7-1 not too long ago. Now, I died. I did die a horrible, painful death. But they've only gotten 2 kills since then. We've gotten 4. They got dragon because I thought I was going to land the hook on dragon and not on Hecarim. It was unfortunate. And if I had landed the hook on it, because I am maxing hook first, that would have been perfect for killing dragon. It would have been just enough damage. Instead, well, that's the one that got away. Orianna dies under the tower, but Akali dies as well. That's some spree gold, a little bit there, a little bit. Gets us, you know, no big advantage for them. We're actually down to like 1,000 gold difference, thanks to how things have been going. But we're still not even. I'm still 0, 4, and 5. I miss a hook on Cassiopeia. That was pretty horrible. I'm still being aggressive. Hecarim is now here, but I've just pulled Cassiopeia into that. And she's dead by the time Hecarim arrives. I pulled Hecarim into tower range. Good ignite from Orianna, and down he goes too. How did that happen? Well, I went to save Orianna from a lot of aggression from Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia got a little too aggressive, got herself killed before Hecarim could make something happen. Hecarim got a little too aggressive, got killed into the tower before he could make something happen. And now Akali gets caught out by all 3 of us. We murder her too. And in the span of just 4 minutes, we've basically caught up. And yes, you can't smite, as far as I'm aware, while you're stunned. I don't believe you can. Maybe you can. I'd have to look that up. Hecarim's smite was actually down for dragon, though, so that wasn't relevant. What actually took dragon wasn't Hecarim's smite, it was Cassiopeia damage. So I was just trying to... I didn't realize his smite was down, which is why I was trying for the hook smite, but if you actually went back and looked at it, that's how it went down. But yes, so what have we observed from this game? What have we seen? Map awareness. How did we get back into that game? Well, we did have a good dragon fight, but we had that good dragon fight because of map awareness. I saved Orianna because I was paying attention to her plight. Map awareness. We killed Akali. Why? Because I saw that Miss Q was in trouble, that Akali was going after him. I went and saved him. Map awareness. Map awareness, map awareness, map awareness. I cannot stress enough how important map awareness is. So that's the show for tonight. I think this is my record low viewer count. I don't care. It was fun. Hopefully it will educate somebody when I post it to the YouTube archive. That'll be awesome. If either of like the 3 of you, there is good English for you. This is why I talk about League of Legends and not proper grammar. If any of you have any further questions, I will try to answer them. In fact, I will actually try to look up this question about smite being used while stunned right now. Smite while stunned. I don't want to give false information. Can you smite while you are stunned? This is a good question. And the answer is actually... yeah, you can smite while stunned, just not while during suppression. So that's the answer to that question. If, even if I had stunned Hecarim with that hook, he could have still used Smite. If you've got a suppression, suppressing the enemy jungler is a way to prevent them from using Smite, but that's pretty specific. But as far as I have been able to look up, and I will just double check. I don't want to spread misinformation. Don't want to spread misinformation at all. I'm just going to search for Smite. Bajam. Look at this again. Can it be used while stunned? Find stun. It doesn't actually talk about it. Does it talk about the mechanics? Well, as far as I can tell, Smite. I'll search for Smite while stunned again. I must corroborate this. Must corroborate this. Right, Flash and Teleport are the only summoner spells that cannot be used while silenced or stunned. So outside of suppression, you can use it. So even if he had had Smite up, the hook wouldn't have stopped that. But that's why I was aiming the hook at Dragon because I felt like the key to getting that Dragon was to do some damage with it in time with my Smite. But the hook hit Hecarim. That's unfortunate. Well, that's the show for tonight. Thank everybody who came to watch tonight. I do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. on the other coast. I think I got those backwards. 3 a.m. for those crazy people in Europe, some parts of Europe. Tune in every week. I post these to the archive. Hopefully they'll be helpful to you. They're certainly helpful to me. I love making these. Thank you all for watching. Here's my crazy social medias information. Once again, thank you for your questions. Thank you for everything. And have a great night.